How's everyone doing today? This is Corey Winkoff. I'm the program director at FLG Lacrosse, and I also run our FLG Scoring Academy, which kicked off last night. It was a real pleasure to get a chance to work with so many great young players in our 7 p.m. session, and then working with our high school elite group in the 8 p.m. session was an absolute treat. We had players coming from all over Long Island, a lot of players from the Northport Huntington area, which was pretty cool to see. And as I explained to the players last night, I'm going to make sure to recap after each session, what we worked on, why we worked on it. I want to make sure the players are answering questions so that they get a full understanding of things that we're trying to teach. And then also I'm going to do these video blogs so our parents can kind of see and hear some of the same things that I'm looking to teach our young shooters at the Scoring Academy each and every week. Last night was a focus on the fundamentals of shooting a lacrosse ball the right way. We spent 40 minutes against the wall focusing on how far apart our hand should be on the stick, how to hold the stick, what part of our hand should the shaft lay on, how tight should our grip be, where should the head of the stick be relative to our helmet or our head or our ponytail, okay? How far apart should our arms be? How far away should our hands and arm be from our body when we shoot? Where should our front elbow be? How far back should our hand be? Where should our chest be and our eyes be? How about my chin? Okay, those are all things that that we taught just in the first 10 minutes of the clinic. It was all talking about the upper body and what the upper body should do when you're setting up to shoot a lacrosse ball. And after we explained that and taught what to do with the upper body, then we focused on the lower part of the body, which is all about where you get your power and your torque from. So we then went from being on 2 knees, just focusing on the upper part of our body, to being on 1 knee. Now we're getting a little bit more rotation, a little more speed on our shot, which is what we worked on there. The last thing we did was then we actually stood up and worked on something called a crow hop, which is a movement that utilizes your feet to take your back foot, step behind your front foot to twist your hips and create torque, and then to take your front foot and step it towards your target to create accuracy and power on your shot. This is a shot that can be effective both in the boys' game and the girls' game. And as I was explaining last night, it's becoming more and more common in the girls' game because 8-meter free position shots are something that girls are using in order to get a time and room shot and to get a good one on goal. For the boys, a time and room shot typically is something that is often assisted goal, is something that comes from a pass from behind the goal to a wing or from a skip pass from one side of the field to the other. So a time and room shot is one of the most fundamental, basic shots that you can learn to do as a lacrosse player, but it's also something that allows you to take what we did last night, even though it's very basic and fundamental, and actually apply it to a real game situation, regardless if you're a PAL player in elementary school, if you're just starting out, or if you're a middle school or high school varsity player. So last night, again, was focusing on mastering the fundamentals of shooting the right way, and I'm a huge believer in that in the first session because if we're going to shoot 100 lacrosse balls on a goal and not do it the right way, then how much are we really getting better? But if we know how to shoot a lacrosse ball the right way and know how to execute the fundamentals of shooting the right way and then go and get onto a goal and take 20 to 100 shots, then we're properly getting reps and we're getting better that much quicker because our reps are being done the right way. So that's really important to us. So again, last night, focusing on the fundamentals, something we'll do each and every week, but that segment will get shorter and shorter because naturally our players at each and every clinic are going to get better at the fundamentals, and that'll allow us to move on and do a little bit more of what we call the fun stuff, which is our station work, where we do footwork, where we do a lot more dodging. We're going to work on dodges, and we're going to work on different types of shot variations, not just our time and room shot. Okay, so what's next? Well, next week, we actually have a special guest coming in. Her name is Kylie Ohlmiller. Some of you might have heard of her. She is one of the best lacrosse players in the world right now. She is, for so many reasons, a great person to bring in and work with both our boys and girls, and here's why. One, she's an excellent scorer. So she works on scoring in so many different ways, and she puts so much pressure on herself to become a better scorer, which is something I want our players to understand and to know. And in order to be challenged in lacrosse, you have to challenge yourself. That's how you're going to be pushed. It's not something that has to constantly come from your environment or people around you, your coaches, or maybe your teammates, even though that does help. Kylie Ohlmiller pushes herself to become great at scoring in different ways, and that's why she was one of the leading and one of the best goal scorers to ever come out of Stony Brook and now playing professionally with the USA team. So I think That's one of the great reasons to have Kylie Ohlmiller come down. The second reason is Kylie doesn't just learn from female coaches and does not just watch female lacrosse players in order to become a better goal scorer. She actually watches the guys' game and learns from men's coaches, which is something that I want our girls to learn to do, but it's something I also want our guys to do. Because if a girl can learn from the guys' game, then why can't a guy learn from a girl player or the girls' game? So this is a great lesson to be learned next week in terms of learning from a female for a girl or a female for a guy, and to learn from one of the best goal scorers in the game. Now, the last thing is, all the best players in the world aren't always the best coaches. With Kylie, I feel as though she's someone who isn't just a great player. I think she's someone who really is passionate about teaching the game and wants to give back to the game. And I think she's going to be someone who's going to really be able to educate and teach our players. So that's why Kylie's coming down. She'll be at both sessions at 7 and 8 o'clock. So make sure to be there. And it's a great opportunity to learn, to ask questions, and to get a chance to watch one of the best players in the world. So we'll see you guys next week at the same time, same place. And I hope everyone has a great week and learned a little bit something from our video blog. And hopefully your sons and your daughters had a good time last night, and hopefully they learned something as well.